Mattress Firm.
Good morning, America. State of emergency. Major hurricane bearing down. Powerful winds lashing the Hawaiian Islands this morning as residents brace for flash floods, landslides, and up to 20 inches of rain. We're tracking its path right now.
President Trump now considering an explosive new move, pardoning former campaign chair Paul Manafort after his conviction for bank and tax fraud. As the White House denies the bombshell claim from Michael Cohen that Trump ordered him to pay hush money to Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. The president declares that Cohen's felonies are not a crime.
ABC News exclusive Miss America in turmoil. Reigning winner Cara Mund is here live. Her first interview since making those allegations. She's been bullied and silenced by leadership, including new chair Gretchen Carlson. What she wants next for the pageant.
And only on GMA, the boys that captivated the world, that Thai soccer team sitting down together for the first time ever, describing their harrowing ordeal and life after that dramatic miracle rescue.
Good morning, America.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
Good morning, America. We have a lot of news to get to this morning. President Trump out with a brand new interview denying that he ordered Michael Cohen to pay hush money to Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, also defying those who say he committed an impeachable offense.
Certainly a lot of political headlines on this Thursday morning, but we can't wait to hear that interview with the Thai soccer team. James Longman, our reporter, was there from the very beginning of that ordeal. He even spoke with the coach, and the boys telling us what happened in their own words and the frightening moment that they realized they were trapped. But George, you pointed out yesterday, they look like they're well fed and they're in good spirits now.
Yeah, look pretty happy. But we're going to begin with that major hurricane that's bearing down on Hawaii this morning. You see the massive storm from space right there. And hurricane warnings for the Big Island, Maui, and Oahu, bracing for major flash flooding, mudslides, whipping winds, and battering waves. Let's go right to ABC's Gio Benitez in Oahu, Hawaii this morning. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Michael, good morning. The wind is just picking up here in Honolulu. We're going to start feeling those tropical storm conditions tonight here in Honolulu. The Big Island already feeling them right now. And now all across Hawaii, all across these islands, residents and tourists, they're just rushing to stores and gas stations. They're loading up on food, water, and gas. That's because officials here are warning everyone to take this storm very seriously. Now, several homes and businesses already boarded up, and today all public schools in Hawaii on every island ordered to close. The sign at one of those schools actually reading, "Lane, lane, go away." Search and rescue teams are also flying in from all over. They're flying in from California to help out here if things get really bad. Shelters are opening up here in Oahu starting today for people who are in those evacuation zones to go and get some shelters. And other people, the worried residents, the worried tourists, they're now trying to get out fast before this storm actually hits, Michael.
All right, thank you so much for that, Gio. And we're going to go to Ginger now with the very latest on a hurricane's track. And Ginger, you've been watching this all morning long.
It is so ominous to see this Category 4 storm just south of the Hawaiian Islands. It's moving northwest at 7 miles per hour, and the impacts are happening as we speak. More than 8 inches of rain in this flash flood warning has already happened. Hilo has Bayfront Highway. It's shut down because of the rain. So the impacts are now, and they'll go through Saturday. That's the timing, and the track is just west of the islands. Remember, the worst side of a hurricane is the right side, which is not good. Tropical storm force winds extend 140 miles outside of the center. 40 miles is where you get the hurricane force winds. So depending on how close you get to this storm, that's going to be the impact of winds. But the number one concern is flash flooding. We'll see some of the rainfall in the 10 to 20 inch range, up to 30 for some. Waves 10 to 20 feet, with some swells up to 25 feet. And a quick look at what's going to happen, where the heaviest rain is going to fall, y'all. It's going to be on the east side of Maui and right there in the mountains. That's why you get flash flooding. And real quick, people keep asking about the volcano. No interaction between the two, except when rain falls on the lava, you get steam. Michael?
All right, Ginger, thank you so much for that as well. George?
Thank you, Mike. We're going to turn now to President Trump, facing new fallout this morning after the bombshell guilty plea from his former lawyer, Mark Cohen, directly implicating Trump in campaign finance felonies. Did the president commit a crime? Could he be impeached by Congress? Trump took that on in a brand new interview on Fox.
Well, you know, I guess it says something like high crimes and all. I don't know how you can impeach somebody who's done a great job.
Let's bring in our senior White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega. Cecilia, the president's comments are going to charge up this impeachment debate as we head into the midterms.
Oh, George, they certainly will. He also went on to say that I will tell you what, if I ever got impeached, I think the market would crash and I think everybody would be poor. So some head-scratching comments there. Clearly, this topic is front and center on his mind. He was up in the middle of the night tweeting. He wrote, "No collusion, rigged witch hunt" at 1:10 this morning.
This morning, President Trump is trying to distance himself from his longtime personal attorney, the man who once said he'd take a bullet for him.
He's been a lawyer for me, didn't do big deals, did small deals, not somebody that was with me that much. You know, they make it sound like I didn't live without him. I understood Michael Cohen very well.
In an interview with Fox News, it comes after Michael Cohen directly implicated President Trump, saying the then candidate himself ordered to pay hush money to porn star Stormy Daniels to keep her claim of an affair quiet to help his campaign. Now the White House testing a new line of defense.
The president has done nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong.
So we asked,
did President Trump commit a crime?
As the president said, we've stated many times, he did nothing wrong. There are no charges against him, and we've commented on this extensively.
Then why not report these payments?
Just because Michael Cohen made a plea deal doesn't mean that that implicates the president on anything.
The explanations have been head-spinning. On Air Force One, President Trump initially denied knowing anything about the payment to Daniels.
President, did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels? Then why, Michael? Do you know where he got the money to make that payment?
No, I don't know.
He then later admitted he had reimbursed Cohen. And now this claim on Fox News.
Did you know about the payments?
Later on, I knew. Later on. But you have to understand, Ainsley, what he did, and they weren't taken out of campaign finance. That's a big thing. That's a much bigger thing.
But lawyers say that still doesn't make it legal if the money was never disclosed. On Twitter, the president blasting his former lawyer with another false claim, saying Michael Cohen pled guilty to 2 counts of campaign finance violations that are not a crime. They are indeed a crime, spelled out by federal prosecutors.
Can you stand here today and say the president has never lied to the American people? Because so many people now look back at that tape of him on Air Force One saying he knew nothing about these payments, when in fact we now know he knew everything about these payments. So has he lied?
Look, again, I think that's a ridiculous accusation. The president in this matter has done nothing wrong, and there are no charges against him.
But as for his former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, convicted of defrauding the federal government, the president has nothing but love, tweeting, unlike Michael Cohen, he refused to make up stories in order to get a deal. Such respect for a brave man.
Now, the president seems to be walking a pretty fine tightrope when it comes to Paul Manafort. In this new Fox interview, he also just said that he didn't know him that well when, of course, Paul Manafort rose to the highest ranks of the president's campaign running the Republican National Convention. He was also asked directly about the possibility of a pardon, since he clearly seems to be gearing up for one, giving all of his kind words for Paul Manafort in the wake of his conviction. The president's answer, I have great respect for what he has done in terms of what he has gone through. So, George, it seems that he is clearly not ruling one out yet.
Yeah, he didn't say yes, didn't say no on that right there. But meantime, Cecilia, on these denials of any knowledge, as you pointed out in the briefing yesterday with Sarah Sanders, it's not only Michael Cohen's words. The prosecutors developed an awful lot of contemporaneous evidence.
Right. He pleaded to these charges. This is a deal that he reached. And the president in this new Fox interview says that it's called flipping and it almost ought to be illegal. So the president is clearly putting blame squarely on Michael Cohen, clearly trying to distance himself. He also said that what Michael Cohen pleaded to was totally unrelated to the campaign. George, these were 2 counts of campaign violations.
Okay, Cecilia, thanks very much. Let's bring this to our chief political analyst, Matthew Dowd, for more on this. Let's begin with those comments about impeachment the president just made. You already see legal analysts saying that a campaign finance violation, if it were proven, could actually be a high crime and misdemeanor because it had to do with the election that brought the president into office.
Well, I think the question becomes are we in a Bridge Too Far sequel number 9, or are we in a place where it fundamentally changes the dynamics, among which we have to keep in mind Republican elected officials? George, up till now, they have been unwilling to hold the president accountable for many different things. Do we get to a point where the information and the activity is so bad and so outrageous they finally do something? And we don't know the answer to that. The evidence so far is the Republicans are unwilling to hold the president accountable in Congress.
One of the questions would be, you already have some Republicans saying, even Lindsey Graham saying, that bridge too far would be a pardon of Paul Manafort, the president not ruling it out.
Well, we've had Lindsey Graham, obviously, as you know, through the course of the campaign, say a lot of things about Donald Trump and what he was, and all of that very negative. He changed his mind in the course of serving with the president in the last 18 months. So I don't know what fundamentally will change many Republicans' minds. George, ultimately, maybe it's the November election that triggers a response of Congress, whether it's Democrats or Republicans. The November election may be the key point ahead.
Okay, Matt Dowd, thanks very much.
And all eyes are on those November midterms. Thanks, George. Now to new details this morning in the death of Molly Tibbetts. Her classmates from the University of Iowa, where she was a freshman, held a vigil overnight as her alleged killer made his first appearance in court. And there are many questions about his status as he was in the United States illegally. Our Alex Perez is in Brooklyn, Iowa for us this morning. Alex, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Paula. The judge ordered the suspect held on a $5 million cash bond. Investigators say he followed Molly and carried out his attack in cold blood.
This morning, the man accused of killing Molly Tibbetts,
Mr. Rivera, did you kill Molly Tibbetts?
Is behind bars after making his first appearance in court Wednesday.
Mr. Rivera, you have been charged with murder in the first degree.
24-year-old Christian Rivera, surrounded by deputies, shackled, communicating via a translator.
Yes.
Authorities say Rivera confessed to abducting and killing Molly while she was out for a jog, dumping her body in a cornfield. According to investigators, Rivera, who's from Mexico, is in the country illegally. The White House weighing in.
The individual believed to be responsible for the murder is an illegal immigrant, making this an unfortunate reminder of why we need to strengthen our immigration laws.
President Trump releasing this video on Twitter talking about the murder and border control.
A person came in from Mexico illegally and killed her. We need the wall. We need our immigration laws changed. We need our border laws changed.
The dairy farm where Rivera worked the last 4 years now saying he lied, presenting employment documents that did not belong to him.
What we learned in the last 24 hours is that our employee was not who he said he was.
The farm now says when they hired Rivera, they used an outdated system instead of Homeland Security's E-Verify. Overnight, residents gathering for a vigil to remember Molly, her family issuing a statement thanking those around the world who have sent thoughts and prayers and saying our hearts are broken.
The family went on to say they will carry Molly in their hearts forever. The suspect is due back in court August 31st. Paula?
Just can't imagine that family's devastation, Alex. Thank you. Michael?
All right, thank you so much, Paula. Now to the latest on Asia Argento. The Me Too activist and accuser of Harvey Weinstein is now facing accusations that she had sex with a former child actor who was just 17 at the time. Argento denies the claims, but now her accuser is speaking out publicly, and ABC's Lindsay Davis is here with the story. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Michael. Jimmy Bennett says initially he was too afraid and ashamed to come forward publicly with his sexual abuse allegations against Asia Argento because of the ramifications and what he calls the stigma of being a male victim. But the now 22-year-old is silent no more.
This morning, Asia Argento's accuser, Jimmy Bennett, is speaking out, issuing a statement saying he initially sought to settle the matter privately because, quote, I was ashamed and afraid to be part of the public narrative. I was underage when the event took place, and I tried to seek justice in a way that made sense to me at the time. The justice he sought, according to the New York Times, was a $380,000 settlement after he came forward in the wake of the Me Too movement seeking monetary compensation after alleging Argento sexually assaulted him in her hotel room back in 2013 when he was 17 and she was 37. Bennett says when Argento came forward as one of Harvey Weinstein's victims in the Me Too movement, the trauma he suffered resurfaced. Bennett writes, at the time, I believed there was still a stigma to being in the situation as a male in our society. I didn't think that people would understand the event that took place from the eyes of a teenage boy. Argento released her own statement earlier this week, vehemently denying the allegations. Hours after Bennett released his statement, a photo first obtained by TMZ emerged purportedly taken after the alleged sexual encounter 5 years ago. In it, Argento and Bennett are seen on a bed shirtless with their arms entangled. Bennett reportedly threatened to take legal action last November. That's when Argento says her boyfriend, the late Anthony Bourdain, agreed to, quote, help Bennett economically upon the condition that we would no longer suffer any further intrusions in our life. But according to his lawyer, the fallout from his encounter with Argento was so dramatic that it hindered his work, income, and mental health. Bennett describes this as one of many adversities in his life that he'll have to deal with, adding in his statement, I would like to move past this event in my life, and today I choose to move forward, no longer in silence.
Pursuant to their agreement, Bennett has been receiving $10,000 a month from Argento. There was no clause in the agreement preventing Bennett from discussing what happened. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department has reached out to Bennett to discuss possible criminal activity.
Wow. This story just keeps taking. It just keeps going. More shocking developments. Thanks, Lindsay. And there has been yet another alligator attack. This time, a 24-year-old woman fought for her life after the reptile grabbed her arm and dragged her underwater in a Florida lake. And ABC's Victor Oquendo joins us from Miami with how she survived. Victor, good morning to you.
Good morning, Paula. It has happened again. Another alligator attack. This woman somehow surviving after being dragged underwater by her left arm.
Citrus 911, what's the address of the emergency?
Hernando Lake Community Park got attacked by a gator, need medical attention.
The 911 call came in the middle of the night. A woman attacked by an alligator while swimming in a Florida lake.
It's bleeding. I'm freaking out. I'm sorry.
Florida Fish and Wildlife says a 5 to 6 foot alligator bit 24-year-old Felicity Marie Gillette and pulled her underwater. Gillette somehow fought it off and survived. Trappers seen searching for the alligator on Lake Hernando in Citrus County. Summer is nesting season for alligators, which could make them more aggressive. Just days ago, another alligator attack with a much different ending for a woman on Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. 45-year-old Cassandra Klein killed by a 9-foot alligator while trying to protect her dog walking along a lagoon. Her pet survived. Klein did not. And in June, a similar attack. A South Florida woman also walking her dogs was pulled into a lake and killed by a 12-foot alligator.
People want to walk along the water or put their toes in the water. That causes vibrations in the water. If you're walking in the water, those splashes are vibrations that an alligator reacts to instinctively. He doesn't know that you're walking your toes. It could be a fish dying. It could be a duck flapping. These are the things that are catalysts to an alligator feeding.
These attacks on humans are rare. You can try to punch an alligator in its snout or poke its eyes if you were ever attacked. But the best thing to do is just keep a safe distance and always be on alert near bodies of fresh water. Guys?
Thank you, Victor.
Good morning.
Let's go back to Ginny with more on those severe storms.
Yes, and you can see the streets full of hail just north of Salt Lake City. And this is in Utah, but of course that trough now moving east, and there will be storms, potential for them to become severe, including hail, but damaging wind too, from parts of South Dakota through Nebraska, and then moving east through the next couple of days. So much to talk about. Your local weather in 30 seconds. First, though, the stormy cities, sponsored by Febreze Fabric Refresher.
No matter how much you clean, does your house still smell stuffy? That's because your home is filled with soft surfaces that trap odors and release them back into the room. So try Febreze Fabric Refresher. Febreze finds odors trapped in fabrics and cleans them away as it dries. Use Febreze every time you tidy up to keep your whole house smelling fresh air clean. Fabric Refresher even works for clothes you want to wear another day. Make Febreze part of your clean routine for whole home freshness.
Absolutely refreshing. A nice treat for late August. Temperatures through about 9 o'clock will be in the 60s. By lunchtime, we're up to about 76 degrees, 78 degrees at 1 o'clock. And our high temperature today, 80 degrees. It will be breezy, but full sunshine and nice and clear for your afternoon plans. The Nationals taking on the Phillies. 1:05 first pitch, looking pretty perfect at the ballpark. Breezy and comfy, and we're doing it all over again tomorrow.
Coming up, our ABC News exclusive with the Thai soccer team saved from that cave. They are together again, telling their harrowing story for the first time.
And reigning Miss America, Cara Mund, is here live in studio. This is her first interview since calling for Gretchen Carlson and the leaders of the organization to step down after claiming she was bullied and silenced. Her message to the one who will inherit her crown. That's next, only on GMA on this Thursday morning. Keep it right here.
It's the final days of the Ford Summer Sales